Hello and welcome. Jesse Bayer, Abundant Living Ecuador, joined by Milton Mena of Mondo Construction. Mondo Construction? Yeah. This is going to be a new series. Basically, I'm going to be having conversations with local professionals, obviously English-speaking local professionals, about different subjects that are pertinent to expats, to life here, to all kinds of things. So I'm going to start it out with Milton, who's an architect builder. He's a very dear friend of mine, a business partner on many things, and an absolute expert in local construction. So the idea today is to give you guys an idea of how to build, permitting processes, time periods, materials, costs, all that sort of stuff, which is what he does, all day, every day. I think we're going to call this show Professional Spotlight. That's what I've got so far anyway. Let me know in the comments what you think. Professional Spotlight for this series. Let me know. And then today's show, of course, will be on construction. So thanks so much for being with us. We're sitting here in Chiquil. We're about 25 minutes from Malacatos at the site of a project that we're doing. Really interesting project. We're reforesting a piece of this land, and then there's home sites all over, spread out, private, beautiful, that we're building out some really well-built, beautiful homes. Obviously you can see the views, so it's kind of out there a little ways, but also still close to Malacatos, Vilcabamba, Loja. I think a great place to live, and we're going to serve sort of the part of the market that's kind of looking for a house under 100 grand type of thing, with your fruit trees and your beautiful spring water and all that stuff. So that's where we are. You can see the river there in the background. It's about a 5-minute drive. So thanks so much for being with us. Really appreciate it. Do me a favor and hit that like, subscribe, share button if you get a chance. Milton, thank you for joining me today. How's it going, brother?
Good, Joe.
Joe's good. Joe's good.
I was thinking about Joe.
You're thinking about Joe.
Well, Joe is a very close friend of ours too.
I interviewed him on the channel.
Yeah, well, that's cool. He's a cool guy. I like him. Jesse, thank you for inviting me to this process, to these interviews, and yeah, I will be happy to give you a perspective of the building process here in Ecuador. As you mentioned, we are here in this project, this new project, Chiquil, which is 20 minutes from Malacatos, and the thing that I like about this project is this view that we were just sitting here in front of the project. So all the lots are going to have this beautiful view, and today we were talking about materials, types of homes that we are going to design, and a friendly environment to have indoor with this climate. Yeah,
Adobe we're thinking at this point, right?
Yeah, Adobe. Here in the place we have a stone too, so probably it's going to be around those materials.
Yeah, beautiful. All right, well, let's dive right into it. So let's start with permitting. In the States and in many other places, getting your permits is a lengthy process. It can be a hassle. There's a million codes and requirements. Then they have inspectors. So they then send people out to your construction site or your home, whatever you're building, and they inspect it. Is the plumbing pipe the right size? Is the electric the way it's supposed to be? Is everything the way it's supposed to be? It gets very involved and complicated, especially when you get into septic tanks and really anything you want to do. There's zoning, right, where they have rules about here's what you can build there, here's what you're allowed to build there, here's how many stories, here's what you can do. And then there's the permitting, and then there's inspections that happen at various points along the way as you build. So let's talk about that a little bit here, and I know it varies from place to place. Obviously, if you're in the city, it's one way. If you're out in the country, if you're another way. If you're in one canton, it's one way. If you're in another canton, it's another.
Or in another city too.
Or in another city. So we'll cover as much of that as we can, but we're here in the Loja, the Loja area. We can start with that. If I'm in Loja and let's say I'm in the city limits, you know, I'm in the city or close to it, I'm within the urban area, what's that process look like?
Well, here in Ecuador, we have this code or this law that all the municipalities around are like or likely. The process varies from city to city, just with the time, but the requirements are the same. You here to start a project or to buy a land, you ask for this fabric line, we call it here.
Linea Fabrica. So this is a piece of paper that shows all the zoning, all the requirements, what you can and can't do on that piece of property.
Yeah. Well, that's the first start to everything. Well, they give you that zoning, that what you can do, like if you can do housing, or you can do agriculture, you can do like
commercial
wood,
stuff.
Commercial.
All it's really all the zoning. It shows all the zoning.
Or yeah, commercial.
If you can
housing,
subdivide or not.
Housing, yeah, it depends of how big it is. They give you like if you what is the minimum requirements for that area, like the minimum square meters to subdivide, the maximum that you can subdivide, the we call it COS and CUS, that it's a occupation of soil. That's it's a percentage that you can build in your lot that is permitted, and a percentage that you can build on top, like the stories that
the percentage of the land you can occupy on the ground and then going up.
Yeah. Well, that gives you some things too, like what type of area are you into. They have some a lot of areas in the municipality, so you know what you are going to do with that project. We were asking.
Sorry, do you mean areas as in locations?
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
Because there's different zoning for different areas.
Yeah,
is that what you mean? Okay,
like for commercial, there is a zoning that it's a commercial. Like for I don't even know what that zone is like, but like they call it like ping zone for bars, discotheques, and like that.
Right, the color coding based on the city, what you can do where. Sure.
Yeah.
Some of the city planning has zoning.
Well, here in Loja it's pretty easy. You just need that paper, and they give you all that specifications. We were asking in Esmeraldas, but they ask you what are you going to do, if you are going to subdivide or you are going to build. So I was talking to them like I need to know the parameters first to see what I'm going to do, but you
tell us first what you want to do.
Yeah. So
in Esmeraldas. So that's Esmeraldas is on the coast up north, very far from here, and a different. Everywhere is different to do business in.
Yeah, well, it's a little different. Like I said, like you need those requirements, but every city asks you like different things.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, that's a pretty easy paper to do. Now they are doing that online, so it gets easy to send the papers, pay, and to have the
right, and that just takes a few days. Costs what, $10 or something?
Yeah, $10. Well, if you need something for the register, $5.
Sure.
Let's call it 20 with everything that you have to
okay,
pay.
so I've got my linea fabrica. I know what I can and can't do. Now I'm ready to move forward. Am I submitting plans, construction plans, or what's the next step?
Yeah, well, I always recommend to do a soil analysis of the land, and when we design the project, always do a structural analysis, where those can save you for or a headache in the future. From the municipality of Loja, they don't ask you those studies if it's less of 200 meters. I don't know what it's in a square foot.
Less than 200 meters size of construction.
Yeah.
200 square meters. Okay, yeah. So I mean, it's about 11. It'd be about 2,200 square feet thereabouts.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So they don't ask you that. You can just give them the architectural plans, and that will be
so
it.
The soil analysis and the structural studies, something you do as a builder, something you recommend, not required if it's under 200 square meters of construction.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, then when you do the plans, you have to do as an architect, we do the electric plans too, and we do the water and sewer plans.
Electric and plumbing, basically. Yeah.
Yeah. When you have like when you are like above these 200
square meters,
if you are doing just housing, probably they are not going to ask you electric study and water and plumbing study.
That won't be a requirement.
That won't be, but they see if there is a big building with a lot of homes, of departments.
Sure.
They are going to ask you that to see if the city can provide you that service, or if you are not allowed. Let's say that you are doing like 10 departments in an area that doesn't have the pressure of the water, so those studies give you that information.
Okay.
And goes to like I have to say that too. It can delay your plans and your construction approval, because like when they ask you for electricity, it goes to another company, to the electricity company. They approve that, and with that approbation, you came back to the municipality. Sewer and water, that's another institution. So with that, when they give you the okay, you come to the municipality. Yeah, that's all about. Like, well, they used to ask about telephone, like telephone line, but now with the cellular and cell phones, they don't ask you too much about that. Okay. And then they have like in the city, they have a place to give you that, because before, like, all wanted to be connected with a phone. So in some areas it was a problem to have a phone. Yeah.
Sure. So you've submitted your plans. It goes through some approval process. How long does that take?
Well, I always said like it's about 2 months. Like, let's say it's 2 weeks to have this the línea de fábrica. Then as a team, we do the designs in like in a 1 month, and it takes like 4 weeks to get this approval in the municipio.
Okay. So a week to 2 to get for the línea fábrica, about a month to do the design, and about you said 10. What did you say for the approvals?
Like 3 or 4 weeks.
About a month for the approval. So about 2 months or so.
2 months and a half can be.
2 to 3 months.
Yeah. Okay. If they don't ask you these studies, like the structural, if they ask you, they have to approve the structural, the electric design, and the water and sewer design. When they ask you that, It depends. It can be up to 6 months to approve a plan, because it goes to these other institutions.
So this is, sorry to interrupt you. So this is if I'm building like a building in Loja.
Like a building,
you know,
yeah.
I'm doing some commercial project, or I'm doing a larger scale project, then it could be up to 6 months.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, if you do a small, like a one house, it takes that. Like,
Okay.
it's not a big deal.
And then once you're actually building, do they have inspectors? Are they sending people out to make sure you're conforming and complying, or no?
Well, they actually have inspectors.
They do.
Yeah, they do, but they only inspection that you are doing according to the plans, if they do it, because they just go to the construction and ask you for the construction permit. That's the requirement. If you have outside the construction, you always paste your construction permit, put your name as an architect or engineer, and that way you can go on with the construction.
And that's in the city. If I'm in a rural area, are they going to inspect me or no?
Yeah, they also have inspectors in the rural area.
In this canton.
Yeah, it's almost like the same as the city. That changed like recently, because before you didn't. It was not a requirement to have this municipality approval. You just can build in the rural area. Yeah.
And there's still some areas as well that you can build in rural areas still without any approval. Okay, if an inspector comes and gives me a hard time, and I know you've never done this, I don't want to get you in trouble, but if an inspector comes and gives me a hard time, can I give him a few bucks to leave me alone?
Well, let me just clarify about the rural.
Please.
I was talking with a lawyer that they now, the municipality, they don't have like the laws to stop you in a rural area.
Okay.
They don't have the law, so you can fight with them in like in the legal situations. The thing that you asked me about these inspectors, well, it's not nice to it's because the country managed that way. But I know that like I have a hard time. I wanted I'm going to share this with you. We were building. No, we were going to start a new
project.
A new project. It was in a terrace. So we're going to do another store in this house, and they were like doing this horizontal property that we call here. I don't know in the States.
It's similar to like a condominium. It's a legal term for how you structure the property, usually in an apartment building, similar to condominiums.
Yeah. Okay. So we were doing like this similar to
propiedad horizontal, they call it here.
Yeah, propiedad horizontal or horizontal property, and they were going to divide into 3 departments, and one other department that we're going to do in the terrace. So she wanted to start very quickly, and I always like to have all these permissions, so I don't have problems, and neither my clients. So she sold like in papers, like in a promise, one story of the building, and the guy that bought that, he didn't even have the horizontal property, like the condominium rules, and then like the title. He didn't even have that, and he start to construct, and she was like saying me, why the guy start to construct, and why don't you start? And was like, no, because if the inspector goes and you are constructing without a permit, they put you a
fine.
A fine,
yeah.
Yeah, they put you a fine, and it can be very bad, that fine. I knew that this guy, that the other guy that was building, he was without permits, without architect, without builder, and I know that he gave the guy money, like 100.
He paid off the inspector.
Yeah. He paid off the inspector.
You think it was like $100?
Yeah, they told me they were $100.
So I mean, that's how cheap it can be to get out of those things, right?
Yeah. Well, but it's not easy. I don't recommend to do that.
Sure.
Because, like, for example, in this project, we have to do plans. The owner got in trouble because when the municipio came and to verify the plans, this all new area that he built was not into the plans. So we have a delay. They have a delay because of that, and we have to change plans, and we got to do the approval of these things that were not supposed to, that didn't have the permit.
Mm-hmm.
So probably you save some time at first, but at the end probably you are going to be in trouble. So it's not that a big deal to do this planning and plans approval, but you are going to feel good having that, and you are not going to get in trouble with that.
And again, this is region by region. So like where we are now, we're in the canton of Gonzanama. They don't have these rules. Here you can build in rural areas without any construction permits, permissions, plans, anything. Milton's talking about the canton of Loja, which is 5 minutes that way, and that's different. Okay, cool. So you said 2 to 3 months for my design and approval process, and then what's a normal construction timeline?
Yeah, well, we can do it in 8 months or 6.
Does that include the 2 or 3, or
no,
8 additional months?
8 additional, yeah.
So call it a year to be safe.
Yeah, to be safe, you can even the construction permit they give you for a year.
Okay.
For 12 months. Yeah.
I mean, I'm sorry. I mean a year to be safe, including the design and the approval.
Yeah. Yes. Well, the construction it depends. If you have all planned at first, and you are not going to do changes in the architectural plans or in the construction, you go fine with these 8 months. If you do changes, you have to be aware that those changes can make a month or 2 months to
sure.
Yeah.
What and so again, so I guess we've really covered, I guess, both rural and urban areas. So what are let's focus more on rural now.
Okay.
What are your favorite building materials?
In rural, well, it always depends of the soil. Yeah. Well, the favorite building material here in Ecuador is the concrete. It's because you have all these materials like the gravel, the sand, and the cement. So it's not that expensive to build in concrete, and the labor is like prepared to do concrete. But well, concrete probably that's going to be another talking to go deeper. It's a very it's a material that can vary a lot, most in the rural areas. Why? Because like in the city you can ask, you have this like concrete guys that give you the concrete that how much strength it's okay.
Yeah, strength.
Strength it's going to have, so you don't worry too much about that. But in rural areas you have to do it by yourself. So like if the guys put more material, like put more sand or put more water, you are going to get a poor concrete. So if you have a professional that is going to do it, don't worry too much about concrete. But if you hire like a labor guy to do the concrete, worry about that. Probably you can go with steel, or you can go with wood, that the strength is not going to change.
Let me interrupt you really quick and ask a clarifying question. So in the city, tell me if I have this right. In the city, they have the concrete trucks.
Yeah.
That come, it's pre-mixed, you know they mixed it right, and they pour the concrete. In the rural areas, you got guys mixing it on site. That's the difference?
Yeah.
Okay.
And like you can ask this company to bring you, but because of the distance, it's expensive.
It costs more. Okay.
Yeah.
So I can have the concrete truck come out to me, costs a little more, but I know I get it right.
And you have to, like in the rural areas, sometimes you don't have like this road that they
can get there.
They can get there. So
okay.
You have to be aware of that.
So concrete's one option. You were about to mention some others.
Yeah. So if you have the right persons, these trucks can get you into the land. So probably you want to do at least the foundation with concrete. If you don't have that, you can go to do the foundation with stone and with a mix of concrete. We call it hormigón ciclopio, like
Cyclops.
Cyclops, yeah, because of the stone and concrete. You can go by that. You don't care too much about the strength of the concrete when you use stone. So you can do the foundations with that, and then you can do a slab.
Let me interrupt real quick. People here don't do basements. I've seen there's some of the big buildings in the city have basements. Usually they're garages, parking areas. But in rural areas, you never see basements. So it's usually a concrete slab that gets poured and then built on top of that. Milton, of course, does a soil analysis first to know how that structure needs to look, how far down it needs to go, those sorts of things. But that's what he's referring to with the slab.
Yeah. Yeah, we don't know. We are not used to in the country to do basements. I know that the basements are made in the States because of many reasons. Like one is to have this foundation. One is to get out of the cold.
Right, the pipes don't freeze. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and to have the room for pipes and room for the other
yeah, mechanical stuff or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, or to warm your home.
Hot water heater.
Yeah. So that's why you need that. Like here in Ecuador, it's necessary to know about these changes of weather, but as we have the same weather almost like, or the same temperature almost all year, like it varies like 2 points or something in Celsius, so you don't worry too much about that, and you don't have like the cold weather here. You don't have ice, so you don't do that kind of foundation.
So I can build my whole house out of concrete, not just the foundation. I can build the whole house out of concrete. What are my other options?
Yeah, in the city we usually do that. Like most, like I can say like 90 or 95% of the constructions in city are with concrete. Mm-hmm. Well, even in the rural areas, but in the rural areas it can be interesting to do, like you can do like stone, and that way you can get out of land and do a steel frame slab, for example, or a wood frame slab, and then you can go and build the other parts.
What are your thoughts on Adobe, brick, Topia?
Well, I love Adobe. Like, well, you need to get info about in what site are you. Like, if you like, here we have workshops that do Adobe, so it's pretty easy to have that Adobe. You can ask that, but as it's a heavy material, you need the rows to be okay to get there. The labor, it's important too. In Adobe, you don't have that many labor that you can choose.
There's not that many people skilled in Adobe.
Yeah, and you need people that is skilled in Adobe. That's why, like, so many people just say, let's do it about bricks, because they knew that, and concrete, because they knew that
anyone can do that. It's easy.
Yeah, like anyone can do it. Yeah, but Adobe has great
properties.
Yeah, and you have here great Adobe Earth, and you can find the right persons to do it.
And you've got crews that know how to do all this, of course.
Yeah, like I always varies the crews because of the material. Like my crews, like the ones that do the concrete, structural concrete, I just make them to do that because we have spent many years teaching these people how to do concrete. So they are not specialized with Adobe. I have another crew that they are specialists in Adobe, that
Sure.
they have worked most of their life in Adobe, and they have this experience. The same we do with the steel. We have crews that they make these steel frames. We have crews that they make the wood frames. So they have to know about that, because otherwise you can have little things that don't match, and that makes a big difference at the end of the
Sure.
of the project. Yeah.
And talk to me a little bit about costs. So let's first start with, what's your typical, and we got to use square meters here. You can convert it to square feet, of course. Even just on Google, if you write square meters to square feet, it'll convert, it'll pop up. We're going to talk in square meters. So in square meters, what's your typical range on stuff that you're building?
Yeah.
Per square meter?
Okay. If you don't have that many finishes, you can go from $400 per square meters. If you have more finishes in your home, or if you have like nice finishes, you can go until 600 or 700. It depends of the finishes.
The quality of your finishing materials, how detailed they are.
Yeah, it's not just the quality. Like
we've got a gigantic. Is that a vulture, or is that like a hawk? Do you know?
That's vulture.
It's a vulture. It's this gigantic vulture just cruised by. Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah, and well, it's it depends of how you want it. Like we were talking about rural. We are making a $400 cost house
Per square meter.
per square meter, but it doesn't have like all the furniture or full furniture. Like you have like these just shelves in your.
It's simpler.
It's simpler, yeah, and you don't have that many finishes. like.
So let me ask you a question. So for $400 a square meter, can I put in wood floors or no?
No.
Okay. So my floor would have to be like ceramic.
Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, ceramic.
Okay. Can I build wood cabinets or also no?
No.
Okay. So I'm doing like a composite cabinets or something that's less expensive than hardwood.
Yeah.
Can I do granite countertops at least or no?
Probably if you have a small
kitchen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
so 400, we're talking pretty basic, simple construction. Still nice, like I can say from personal experience. Still well built. Still nice. It's going to look great, but it's you can't get into marble and wood and granite and that sort of stuff. Is that about accurate?
Yeah. Well, and when we do like $400 per square meters, we have to do like a nice design with all this stuff. Like if you're telling me like, well, you can not have granite, but let's do a concrete countertop, and we can like pull it and make
polished
it
concrete.
polished.
Yeah, it's beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah, and make it look nice. We can also do in flooring. We are going to do in this project with not that ceramic, like brick ceramics.
Yeah, like the rustic, yeah, those are beautiful. Yeah, red. You're talking about the red tile. Yeah, it's beautiful.
Red tile, and we are going to polish that and put some lac on it.
Yeah, lacquer.
In the structure, we are doing a simple. No, it's another type that you use in the States. You use in the States the platform, that platform system that is with this 2x4, I think, and goes like 2 foot, I think, and you do this whole structure. We can do here with the columns and beams structure. So that project we're doing with columns and beams, and we are doing
wood. Are you using or what are you using for the columns and beams?
Yeah, we are doing with this eucalyptus.
Yeah.
Eucalyptus
wood.
Wood.
Eucalyptus wood.
Yeah, and also rustic.
Yeah, no, it sounds
brick.
Beautiful. Yeah.
Yeah,
brick is cheap as well.
Yeah, brick is very cheap here, and you can make some nice things about that. So yeah, you have to give these details. If you want a more modern home, it's going to cost you a little more.
Okay.
Yeah.
So if I'm spending, let's say, $700 a square meter, now can I do wood floors, marble,
Absolutely.
Granite, beautiful shower, beautiful bathroom?
Yeah.
Cool.
With the 7, we have done like 650 can be nice home with nice finishes, and also it's included this special structure, because with those homes, they're in the soil analysis we have seen that it's not a good soil, and you have to be aware of that. We have a lot of clay here in the surrounding areas, in the city of Loja, and in the rural areas we have a lot of clay. So sometimes you have to do a special foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go a little deeper and do some things structurally.
Or change you can do with pilots. I think it's called pilotes. Well, these columns, it's different that the foundations that you use there, because you in the States you are very familiar with this slab concrete that it's down. We do these columns with it's pilotes is in
I'm sorry,
Spanish.
I can't help you guys there. You slipped one by me there.
It's like, I think it's pilots. I have read that, I think, and zapatas. I don't know how to.
Well, those are like feet, like bases.
Yeah, feet. Yeah, feet. Columns with feet. Yeah. So you do it can be like in a grid of 4 meters or 5 meters, and you put this feet with this column, feet and column,
right.
and you do
and that
this.
creates the structure. Yeah, that makes
You have
sense.
a lot of foundations that you can do. It depends of your knowledge, and it depends of the soil analysis to have this to have this decision.
Yeah. And yeah, I mean, I'll just say, and I'd like to get your opinion on this too. I think personally that when you find someone reputable like Milton, I really think building here is really advantageous in a lot of ways. Obviously, you can find great houses and buy them that are already built, but there's a lot of shoddy construction in Ecuador that's just not great. So you don't always know what you're getting exactly, and you're going to pay a premium normally for something that's already built. So, you know, I've worked with a lot of foreigners where, you know, if there's, you know, you're spending 150,000, 200,000, 250,000, whatever you're spending on your home, you buy that already built, you're just getting a lot less home for then if you hire somebody like Milton to build it, you're usually, you know, it's going to cost you quite a bit less often than it would be to buy something that's pre-built. So I think that can be a really good option for people.
Yeah, well, you have to be aware of the time too. Like
the time, you lose the time, right?
Yeah.
I mean, you're paying for the time basically to to buy it finished.
Yeah, well, and when we design, it's very interesting this process of design, because like we do all this like in 3D, and you can look at your home how it's going to look, change materials if you want. We also do some rendering, so you have this previous look that is very similar as the things that we built. Also, you can do these lighting things, because usually when you buy home is not like well with lights,
well lit. Yeah.
And that, and well, I don't buy something that it's already built just for me, because I want to know that was built correct, because we have earthquakes here in Ecuador, so you have to be aware of that. You want to be in a home that is with a structural analysis, so if something happens, you can sleep.
Your kids won't get the roof falling, you know,
or or the walls on everything. So
sure.
Yeah.
One thing I didn't touch on, so are there big differences in costs between Adobe, brick, concrete? We didn't mention Topia. I don't know if you work with Topia or not. Are there big differences in cost there, or is it pretty minimal?
Well, Topia,
that's like rammed earth. It's a very
rammed earth.
Yeah, it's a very interesting style. People don't do it much anymore. It used to be very common years ago, but it's still, you know, it's very labor intensive. I understand. Milton can talk about it more than I can, but it's similar to Adobe, but it's rammed earth as opposed to, you know, blocks like Adobe.
Yeah. Well, people don't use that too much. One is the time, like concrete and everything is faster to build. The labor is there are a few people that can do that.
Yeah, there's only a few experts that are really good at it.
And you lose space, because the walls
thick.
Here in Ecuador, they have to be like 60 centimeters to 80 centimeters. So with the appear of Adobe, to have
appearance
of Adobe, to have a earth house, they use Adobe, that it's faster to do that.
Sure.
Yeah. Well, it doesn't change. Talking about cost, it changes, but it's not like a big percentage. Like if you do like Adobe, look rustic, like with this round beams and everything, is
like wood in Adobe.
Wood and Adobe is not very like finish it, work it, or very very
it's a rustic look.
Rustic looking. You can have like a cheaper home doing with those materials, because like when you finish Adobe, you don't need more things like in concrete, like or like in bricks, that you have to pour concrete to make it look nice, and you have to put this layer before the paint, that it's plaster,
all the plaster.
Okay, yeah. We don't use primer here because we don't use these drywalls. Well, even when we do drywalls, the guys do plaster. They plaster everything.
Almost no one sheetrocks anything here. It's very gypsum. Like it's very they sell it. It exists, but
it's coming. Like
it is coming.
Sheetrock, it's is using a lot, but
they're using it a lot now.
Yeah, but they are doing like, they put the sheetrock and they plaster.
Yeah, instead of taping it.
Yeah, they tape it and they plaster and they paint it. So it's not like in the States you just do the joints.
Yeah, and then you paint it.
Put the primer and paint.
Yeah.
But I don't know why they use plaster. I think
they haven't really figured it out yet. It's new.
Yeah, probably the to change, because we always do plaster in concrete and in bricks, to change from sheetrock or make it like look to similar to bricks, they plaster, but they are not supposed to. Yeah.
So minimal differences between prices, or
well, let's start like, probably you can do a 400 with this rusted looking. If you change like the structure, you even are going to be like in the same. Like if you want like a more modern look home, or you want a nice floor, you are going to vary it. When we talk like in the city, this talking, it's very often like, should I do concrete or should I do steel? When well, now the price of steel is high, so probably you can do concrete. If it's not like if it's a one floor house, probably steel is going to be like cheaper, because you're not going to need this strong
single story home.
Yeah, you don't need this strong structure to support the stories. So when you need a strong structure, concrete is cheaper than steel.
Okay.
Yeah, and wood, if it's rustic, probably can be cheaper than both. But if
you're talking about just the structure.
Yeah, the structure, because like the finishers are the same.
Right.
Yeah, and if you are talking a wood US structure, like they use this platform, like I know how to do it, but I haven't done it here, because like you have to put sheetrock and everything, and like you don't have here in the country this sheetrock that it's for outside, and you don't have those layers that you use in the States to humidity and everything. So that system is not very well.
It's not common. It's not.
And you don't have the labor that knows all about these little specifications, that
the expertise
that are going to make your project look good, to have good function. Probably it's going to look nice, but in the time you are going to know that they are coming apart because of humidity or something like that. Yeah. So yeah, that's about the cost in a structure. You have these little varieties, like when we do this price analysis, a structure is about the 25% of the cost of the construction, or 30. So concrete, when you need a strong strong structure, concrete is cheaper than the steel. But in steel you gain time because you do faster. So there is a like, let's say probably it's $25 or $50, no, $25 per square meter, the difference, but it's not a big difference. Like the finishes are the same because you still use brick in the walls, use steel with the steel. You do this concrete slab, and so you put ceramic or tile or everything, or wood. Yeah.
All right, well, I think we're probably getting scorched in the sun here. I'm gonna need a lot of aloe after this. Before we wrap up, and I'm gonna ask Milton one last question, but before we wrap up, guys, again, if you like this video, if we're giving you good information, please give us a share, a like, subscribe, all that good stuff. Milton, before we go, is there any last tips or advice you wanna give people, or have we covered it?
Well, yeah, if there is more questions, you can put in the comments and we can make another video. I will be happy to share my expertise with you. Well, my advice, it will be like always go with a professional to do this. Don't forget about doing this soil analysis. That is very important because of the landscape that we have, or the earth that it's around us. And be aware with like hiring yourself people, because that's a hard work that we do as a construction workers. To hire people here, it's a tough one because probably you can like all these workers are experts, all of them. Like, can you do that? Yes, I can do it. Are you good at that? Yes, I'm good at to do that. So probably you are going to they are going to ask you like half of money, and then all of a sudden they disappear, or they don't do a good job, and you have to pay more to someone else to do it, and it's going to cost you more. So that's a headache that even into the professionals, we have passed through that. I have a crew that I know them for a long time, and I trust them. But when someone new, I always have to have a recommendation or something about that. You have to be aware about that if you are going to get into construction. You can do it, but on your own risk, and have these thoughts at first.
Milton, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thanks, Jesse, for everything, and thanks you for listening to us. And if you have some questions, we can do a shorter video and give you information.
Thanks, guys. Have a wonderful day.